Honorees, Chung Ha Kim, P.T. Usha, Boy Kuhn, Cornelius Bennett, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Rocky Bleier, Wilma Rudolph, Vinny Testaverde, Haas Child, Larry Bird, Bill Bowerman, Ronaldo Nehemiah, Frank Deford, and Bart Forbes. Here as Master of Ceremonies is America's most recognizable sports commentator, the man who brought journalism to sports broadcasting, Howard Cosell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It has to be an extraordinary moment for all of you, the opportunity to have me back in this great city of historic pride all over again. I look forward to the evening. I learned so much about your great city last year, and just last night at Oakley, I had the opportunity of presenting the former commissioner of baseball, Mr. Bowie Kuhn. Few of you had apparently known that it was he who provided the architectural plans for Oakley back in 1830. In the Battle of Mobile Bay, it was Mr. Kuhn, of course, who issued the orders to Farragut. He is a singularly historic figure himself, and we bring him back as a consequential figure of the past. Ladies and gentlemen, the first award this evening is the Eagle Award, the United States Sports Academy's highest international honor. The award is named after the bird of America, the eagle, which is also the symbol of the United States Sports Academy. It's given to a world leader in sport, recognizing his outstanding contribution by using sport to promote peace and goodwill. The inaugural winner of this award, a terribly frank and impressive man earlier this evening at the press conference ably run by Frank Deford, he told it as it really is at the moment about the hopefully forthcoming games in Seoul, Korea. Mr. Chung Ha Kim.
Under Mr. Chung Ha Kim's direction, Seoul, Korea was host to the most successful Asian Games in history. 27 countries were represented, including China, which had no diplomatic relations with Korea. As head of the North-South dialogue between the Koreans, Mr. Kim helped to bridge the political and military gaps, and China participated. His answer was peace. He was also instrumental in securing the 1988 Summer Olympics in Seoul, where incidentally tennis will be added as an Olympic event. Kim is also president of the Korean Handball Association. He's active in civic and youth activities and has promoted sports exchange programs with Eastern Bloc countries, proving that sport can transcend geographical and political boundaries.
To present the Eagle Award to Mr. Kim this evening is the president, the founder of the International Federation of Bodybuilders, Mr. Ben Weider.
Ladies and gentlemen, this moment, I excited so much. I cannot make a long speech. I can say only, thank you very much, and I love this country so much. God may bless all of you. Thank you.
The presidents and secretary generals of the Olympic councils, which made up the Asian Games, voted on the winner of our next award, the Sheikh Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa Asia Award, named in honor of the Crown Prince of Bahrain and President of the Supreme Council of Sport. His Excellency, who, by the way, is also a keen sportsman, has been a long-time promoter and supporter of sport in Bahrain. Sheikh Hamad has realized the need for greater sports facilities and recreation facilities, and so he developed the Bahrain High Council for Youth and Sport. Ms. P.T. Usha, India's premier track star, is the first winner of the Asia Award. In the Asian Games last year, get this, she was the winner of 4 of her country's 5 gold medals, showing her expertise in the 200 and 400-meter runs, the 400-meter hurdles, and as a member of the 400-meter relay team. As you will see in just a moment, she is also an absolutely stunning young woman with the kind of beauty that is given to very few, but to this lustrous Indian lass.
P.T. Usha is truly one of the outstanding sports stories of the 80s. In 1982, Miss Usha won 2 silver medals in the 9th Asian Games in New Delhi. Ever since then, she's been setting records throughout Asia. Some of her most notable performances took place at the 10th Asian Games held in Seoul, Korea. Later, in 1985, Usha won the incredible 5 gold medals at the Asian track and field meet. Her speed, agility, along with her willpower and determination, are examples to the world of artistic perfection in sports and ensure that she will be remembered throughout time as one of the greatest female athletes of the century.
Well, her powerful and graceful strides have literally set the Asian continent on fire. Representing the Bahrain Sport Institute, the sister institution to the United States Sports Academy, is Sheikh Isa bin Mohammed Al Khalifa, Minister of Sport for the state of Bahrain. And he will make the presentation.
I am extremely happy that I am selected for this award by the United States Sports Academy. I am happy to return to my country with this award. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. The theme song of the Academy Awards of Sport, The Heart of a Champion, by Milton Brown and Steve Doff.
Impossible odds, something
Our third award this evening is also the third new award this year, the Male Contributor to Sport Award. You can imagine many people who have made contributions to sport by way of their involvement in it as an athlete, administrator, coach, trainer, developer, researcher. This evening, the award goes to a man honored for a lifetime impact on the sport of baseball. For 16 years, commissioner of Major League Baseball. Sandbagged out of the job by a bunch of small-minded National League owners under antiquated rules. Bowie Kuhn. I remember him, a young lawyer failing in the profession. Breaking into baseball in 1950, selected to work on litigation involving the National League. Then in 1968, he represented the National League club owners in negotiations with the Major League Players Association. As a result of his efforts, the players made more gains than anybody could have imagined because of his futility in the job. And then in his tenure as commissioner, the game underwent some of its most fundamental issues and changes. There were drug investigations, free agency, the influence of television in baseball, hugely escalating player salaries, suspensions. But baseball survived. Thanks largely to this man, the maintenance of his emotional equanimity. He did peak out early while running the scoreboard at Old Griffith Stadium in Washington. But then he came along to write a book, Hardball, The Education of a Baseball Commissioner. I hope every one of you, and I'm happy to make this plug, gets a chance to read that book, because Mr. Kuhn dispassionately, accurately recounts, and indeed got a rave review in the New York Times book review section, accurately recounts what happened during his tenure as commissioner.
When one looks at the career of Bowie Kuhn, one is actually looking at the story of baseball. His life, a behind-the-scenes story of the 16 years he was commissioner of baseball. He witnessed and influenced some of the most significant and fascinating developments in the history of our national pastime. As commissioner, he was filled with a passion for the game. When he became commissioner, baseball was faced with increased competition from other forms of entertainment. Attendance at games was dropping, and many teams suffered from poor management and marketing. When he retired, the game was flourishing. His decisions, actions, and influences in times of controversy and strikes were baseball's saving grace. His knowledge and foresight about baseball were truly remarkable, and this is evidenced in his book called Hardball, The Education of a Baseball Commissioner. Mr. Kuhn's career in many ways serves as a history text of baseball's turbulent times.
Well, I've already mentioned the closest he ever came to action was as a scoreboard boy at Griffith Stadium. I had personally felt the last all-star game ever played at Griffith Stadium, for your information, was in 1956, and a very young third baseman became the game's most valuable player. He is now deceased, really, but relatively recently so. His name, Kenny Bleier. But Bowie wanted to keep the game forever at Griffith Stadium. He wanted to keep Griffith Stadium there forever because his dream is to see baseball return to our nation's capital, where it should be. In any event, the Sporting News wisely named him Man of the Year in 1983. Mr. Richard Waters, president of the Sporting News, is here to present the award to Mr. Bowie Kuhn now.
Thank you very much, Dick, and thank you, Howard. I am profoundly grateful to the United States Sports Academy for this truly marvelous award. Obviously, during the long career I had in sports, and still having in a way, I could not have achieved any of the things that perhaps I did achieve without the loving support of my wife, Louisa, and of my children. And I could not stand up here and address this subject without mentioning the others who also made it possible and tell you of my gratefulness to them. Charlie Finley, George Steinbrenner, Marvin Miller, Ted Turner. You get the idea. Thank you very much.
Our next award, the Male Alabama Athlete of the Year Award, is the fourth of 8 new awards this year, given at the Academy's Award of Sports. The program just keeps getting bigger, doesn't it? Every single year. This award was initiated to recognize 2 athletes, a male and a female, who have either attended a college or university in the state of Alabama, who are native to the state of Alabama, or who have been a resident of this great state for at least 10 years. The winner of this award is a gentleman who has been likened to a fellow named Lawrence Taylor, and not without reason. And it goes to a fellow who come next week will be drafted, probably number 2 in the draft, by the illegal monopoly, duly found to be such in every courtroom in America where the issue has been tried. He will be drafted by an owner who is a positively beneficent man. He took his team under cover of night aboard the Mayflower, deserting Baltimore, going to Indianapolis, and the team should now appropriately be named the Indianapolis Pilgrims. And the young man who'll be getting the award has a strength of character that the owner doesn't even remotely approach. Before I'm done with Cornelius Bennett tonight, the truth of the matter is he may sue the illegal monopoly, beat them in court, wipe out the draft, get a job in the American way anywhere he can to the highest bidder, because that's what he deserves. But let's go to the videotape on Cornelius Bennett.
The University of Alabama has had a long-standing reputation of producing great football talent over the years, many of whom have made their way to the professional ranks. Cornelius Bennett is expected to be drafted in the top 3 selections of the upcoming NFL draft. He's a 3-time All-America, easily recognized for his terrorizing and aggressive play in the field. The 1986 SEC Player of the Year, Bennett was named Most Valuable Player after his 11-tackle performance in the Crimson Tide's Sun Bowl victory over Washington. Cornelius was named this year as the Lombardi Award winner, earmarking him as the best college lineman in the nation. This year, he became only the 3rd defensive player in Alabama history to win Southeastern Conference Player of the Year honors.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to present the Alabama Athlete of the Year Award to Cornelius Bennett, the Lawrence Taylor of college football, is Reggie Copeland, Sr. of the City of Mobile's Mayor Council.
First of all, I'd like to thank the United States Sports Academy for giving me this honor, and everyone here tonight for all this money that's taken up, I guess, the charity that's going, well, not the charity, but to the academy that it's going to. My new bride, you know, I can't leave her out. ask my coaches and all my teammates that helped me win this award. You know, you can't be selfish and I can't be selfish and accept this award and say that I won it because I had 10 other guys out there on the field with me. So each of them deserve a piece of this. So I'd like to say thank you very much on behalf of those guys also. Thank you.
Thank you, Cornelius. You just made a point, young man. You won the Lombardi Award. Mr. Lombardi was very dear to me, young man. I did Run to Daylight, adapting his book to an award-winning documentary. I did a primetime special on the day Mr. Lombardi was buried after the services at St. Patrick Cathedral. Mr. Lombardi was often quoted as having said, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Mr. Lombardi never said that. Ask his players. That was misreporting and then picked up in newspaper files all over the country and written about by people who never even met Mr. Lombardi. Mr. Lombardi said and taught what you just said, young man. He said, you've got to subvert yourself. Commit to a group effort. All I ask of each and every one of you is that you get the most out of what you've got to give. Not every one of you is a great player. Not every one of you can ever be a great player. But if you synchronize your efforts toward the common goal, understanding that you are a member of a team, you will prevail more often than not. Young man, you walk in that image, which is why you won the Lombardi Award. Congratulations. The Amateur Sportswoman of the Year is our next award. Again, it is one of the 4 awards which was voted on by the public, the Sports Academy, and the 500 writers of the Sporting News. Jackie Joyner-Kersee has proven this year that she is master of an event made only for those with the heart of a champion.
The heptathlon is one of the most difficult competitions in the world, consisting of 7 events in a series over 2 days. It requires more than strength and skill. It requires the desire to be the best. When Jackie entered the Goodwill Games in Moscow this year, few doubted she would make her presence known. No one thought she could break her own record of 7,000 points, the equivalent of the 4-minute mile. She did it and set the new world record. 1 month later, she broke her own world record at the U.S. Olympic Festival in Houston. With the home crowd behind her, she scored 7,161 points and put herself once again in the record books. At the age of 24, Jackie is the first American woman to hold a world record in a multiple event sport or win a major international heptathlon competition. This year, Jackie became the 8th woman in history to win the James E. Sullivan Memorial Award, recognizing her as the outstanding amateur athlete in 1986.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank the U.S. Sports Academy, the faculty, the students, the news media, and everyone else involved for nominating me for this award. I would like to congratulate the other recipients for winning the award as well.
She is a real winner, and she's got a lot of personal class. It was great when she won the Sullivan Award this year, and many didn't think so. Not even Wilma Rudolph, who's grown accustomed to discrimination. Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree is somebody very, very dear to me. I tell you, in the decade of the 70s, there were 27 teams in the National Football League. And then there were the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steel Curtain. I wonder how many of you realize the greatness of this man. We live in a country where we make role models, surrogate parents in many cases, of athletic heroes. And very few of them deserve that kind of adulation. But this is an authentic American hero. One of the great stories that sport endlessly produces. And one of the great stories that has caused one of our honorees here tonight, Frank Deford, to not be just a sports writer, but a man who writes of people in sport with a strength and a drama and an understanding that comes from the fullness of his own life. And Rocky Bleier is one of those people. Number 20, Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, sure, Franco Harris was great. Made the immaculate reception. But without the blocking of Rocky Bleier, Harris was nothing. And the whole damn team knew it.
Once a captain of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team, Rocky Bleier fought for a place on the Pittsburgh Steelers team. He wasn't drafted high in the pro selections, but he was drafted, and that's all that mattered to him. He didn't have the chance to prove himself as a rookie because that year he was drafted for combat duty in Vietnam. He was wounded, crippled by grenades and enemy rifles. All the doctors believed he would never play football again. His test was to make good again the body the Army had listed as 40% disabled. He believed in himself and for 2 years put himself through training that even the fittest would have had difficulty in surviving. But he survived and he won. Over a period of 12 years, Rocky Bleier contributed to 4 Super Bowl victories. He manages his own enterprise today and continues to speak to others about his fight, inspiring them to greater achievements and effort and similar courage.
Number 20. Remember the television? Remember Robert Urich playing Rocky Bleier in the television movie on Rocky's life? It was one of the great moments of my life when I had the privilege of sitting in the Monday Night Football booth and talking about Rocky Bleier. It was a signal opportunity to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth about this remarkable man. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you number 20, Rocky Bleier, winner of the Mildred Babe Didrikson Zaharias Courage Award. To present the award, Mr. Kenneth Johnson, President of Capital Broadcasting.
Well, thank you very much. And Howard, I suppose I would think that being a grizzly old veteran on 2 war fronts, and at the age of 41, I thought I'd never be embarrassed again, but tonight you seem to have done it one more time to me. And ladies and gentlemen, the Babe really was a beacon on the horizon. And she was a beacon for her sports, and she was a beacon for women to participate in those sports. But more importantly, for all of us, she was a beacon to show us that dreams can be achieved and that adversity can be overcome. As one of her disciples, I want to thank you for that. But also I want to thank the United States Sports Academy, the American Sports Art Museum and Archives, but more importantly, all of you to allow their dreams to come true. Thank you very much.
Just a touch of class, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the Roonies are owners to respect. That's why that was the team of the 70s. And I don't know if anybody will ever do again what you people did, Rocky. Mean Joe Green. Mean. It wasn't the rings, he said, Joe Green. It wasn't the Super Bowls. When the cheering stopped, as it inevitably does, it was the memories, the associations that knit that team together. Rocky, Franco, Joe Green. What a bunch. Right down the line. Number 47, Mel Blount, maybe the best defensive back of our time. Remember when I voted for him to win the MVP in the Pro Bowl game in the King Dome in Seattle, and you said don't vote for him? Let's move ahead. Let's take a look, a good, hard look at the institution that is responsible for tonight's show, the United States Sports Academy.
This is the United States Sports Academy's Graduate School of Sport. Located on the eastern shore of Mobile Bay in Daphne, the United States Sports Academy is the only freestanding graduate school of sport in America. It is a private, non-profit organization with one clear, overriding objective: to provide the highest caliber master's degree education in sports science in the world. The Academy is accredited by the Commission on Colleges of the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools and is approved by the Alabama State Board of Education for master's level teacher certification programs in sport coaching and sports medicine. This graduate school has a mission: to serve the nation and the world by providing the highest level of academic instruction and practical research for its students. There are 4 sport-specific graduate-level disciplines at the United States Sports Academy. Students receive training in sports medicine, fitness management, sports coaching, and sport management. In all these fields, the Academy helps students define their career goals and find a place of employment in sports. Study at the Academy takes place in the classroom and laboratory settings where students experience a hands-on approach to education. They receive practical lessons in many different fields of sports study, which will be invaluable in their professional careers in sports. In these ways, the United States Sports Academy moves ever forward, every day, to meet the needs of the future and to ensure the progressive management of sport education in the world. Through instruction, through research, through service, the United States Sports Academy has become a leader in the world of sport education.
Sometimes a man can have a choice in life and make the greatest mistake of his life. It was Rome, 1960. And I had a choice of adopting the most beautiful woman ever to compete in the Olympics, manifestly sexual, utterly exciting, or I could adopt a loud-mouthed young heavyweight, light heavyweight, who would go on to win the gold. Fool that I am, I adopted a young man then named Cassius Clay. And I rejected Wilma Rudolph. I have paid for it ever since. Our next winner could probably have won the Courage Award also, but instead she is the first recipient of the Female Contributor to Sport Award. The mother of 4 now, believe it or not, and you won't believe it, when you see the sylph-like figure come up on the stage, it's presented to the person who has been deemed by many as a great contributor to her sport over a whole lifetime.
After Wilma Rudolph became the first American woman ever to win 3 Olympic gold medals in track, she went on for 2 years after the 1960 Rome Olympics to compete worldwide. Her successes were great, but she knew more was in store for her in life than athletic competition. She retired from competition after those 2 years and turned to the world of business. She founded the Wilma Rudolph Foundation. It was a step for a woman who, as a child, was stricken with polio and who walked with a brace until she was 9. She's committed to the foundation, which is a community-based amateur sports program designed to help young people reach their full potentials, academically, physically, and morally. The foundation also helps develop athletes for national and international competition. Recently, Wilma Rudolph joined DePaul University as the director of the women's track program, and she's special consultant to the president on minority affairs.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's with very special feeling, I mean it from the heart, that I have the privilege of presenting to you Wilma Rudolph. And her award will be presented by Mrs. Bert Meisler, partner, Rhyme Investments. Come on up here, baby.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for the warm reception. To the Sports Academy, I say to you, thank you. I am never nervous, but with Howard, you never know. Rocky, you're absolutely correct. 27 years, I never know what he's going to say. But it has been wonderful when I look back over the 27 years and remember my warm friendship with Howard, and the encouragements that I've gotten from him, and then go back to Ali in 1960 and all through the years of being involved and making contribution in the world of sport. It is a wonderful thing to know that you can make an impact on other people's lives, especially the youth of America. I say to you once again, if this is what it's all about, I will continue to strive to excellence from the standpoint of passing on something back to the youth of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wilma. What's between us, baby, is forever. You know that. We move now from the track to the football field, where one young man has turned nearly every head of the professional football coaches.
The Amateur Sportsman of the Year honors go to Vinny Testaverde. Vinny was the Heisman Trophy winner this year. This former All-American quarterback from the University of Miami is the most recent addition to the lineup of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Vinny was a starter for the Hurricanes for only 2 seasons, following many successful generations of Miami quarterbacks like Bernie Kosar and Jim Kelly. But he made the most of those 2 years, completing more than 62% of his passes and averaging 276 yards a game. Last year, he led the nation with 26 touchdown tosses and led in the category of passing efficiency. His Hurricane team won every regular season game in 1986. Now, at 6'5", 218 pounds, Vinny has everything a quarterback needs: size, strength, power. He was named First Team AP, UPI, and Sporting News his senior year. He was also the UPI Player of the Year and the Walter Camp and Maxwell Club Player of the Year.
He also has $8 million. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Amateur Sportsman of the Year Award, Mr. Vinny Testaverde, to the screen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for not being here tonight with you, but it's only once in a lifetime that your hometown throws a parade for you. I'm very honored to receive this award by the United States Sports Academy, and I'd like to thank them for it. I also like to thank my family, friends, and teammates for all the support and help they've given me over the years for me to accomplish my goals. I also want to congratulate all the award winners here for all the great contributions they made to the world of sports. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinny. If you went a step further, send a telegram to Dr. Rosandich, President, U.S. Sports Academy, and said in it, I promise I will try to continue to uphold the standard of excellence you have set for me. So we thank you, Vinny, for the in absentia for the telegram. The 7th new award for the Academy's Awards of Sport is the Female Alabama Athlete of the Year Award.
A master of the all-around and uneven bars, Penny Haas Child is known for her aggressive style and concentration. Admitting she might not have been the best gymnast at the NCAA tournament, Haas Child won with her ability to compete and come up with her best performance at the right time. One of the most decorated athletes in Alabama history, the Pennsylvania native was named winner of the AMF America Award after last season's national championships, given to the nation's top senior gymnast. The SEC Female Athlete of the Year in 1985, Haas Child was a 3-time recipient of the Eleanor Dudley Copping Award, the highest award for a female athlete at Alabama. The 4-time All-SEC performer was a member of the United States World University Games in 1983. The 5'1" and 1/2 inch Haas Child is Alabama's prize female athlete, a worthy recipient of this year's Alabama Athlete of the Year Award.
Okay, here to present the Alabama Athlete of the Year Award to Penny is Mrs. Celia Wallace, chairperson of the Board of Directors of Spring Hill Memorial Hospital.
Is that for Cornelius? It's hard to put into words how much an award like this means. All my gymnastics accomplishments were just a result of a natural ability I was given. And it's nice to receive something and be recognized from an outside source. Of course, I want to thank the United States Sports Academy, my coaches, Dave and Sarah, with whom I could never have done anything, and my mom. Thanks.
Thank you, Penny. And if men your age can excel in gymnastics, so can women too. You're not too old. See you in Seoul. The next award, the Professional Sportsman of the Year Award, is the last award which was voted on by the sporting news writers, the Academy, and by the general public. The award goes to basketball's premier player, without question, nonpareil, Larry Bird of the Boston Celtics. Watch him on the video.
Larry Bird considers himself to be one of those players who can't run or jump, but his records show you that nothing has kept him from reaching his full potential. Larry Bird is a star. He led the league in field goals made and attempts, free throws, assists, total points, and scoring average. Year after year, he continues to improve those highs. But his contribution to the great Boston Celtic team goes beyond words. When one witnesses Larry Bird in action, one is truly witnessing the best basketball has ever seen. Ever since he joined the team, he's had a special ability to bring out the best in his teammates. His fierce competitiveness, deadly shooting touch, and sixth sense on the court have combined to make him the league's most valuable player for the past 3 years. He has become the standard for excellence for every other player in the game. Larry Bird and basketball, they were made for each other.
As you know, Larry Bird is occupied with the playoffs against the Chicago Bulls. As a consequence, he couldn't possibly be here with us tonight. But he did send this telegram. Dear Academy, I'm so sorry I can't be with you tonight, but I am preparing for my playoff game against Chicago. Michael Jordan is no one to be taken lightly. I am grateful for the award you have given me. I wish the Academy continued success. Again, I am very, very honored. Thank you so much, Larry Bird. Now, you know that along with all these athletes here tonight, there is also a tremendous coach. We are honoring him with the Amos Alonzo Stagg Coaching Award. I know something about this coach. I lived through a series of unbelievable events in Munich, West Germany, in 1972. I know what this man went through. Our paths crossed frequently, and not always in harmony because of the flow of events, which were hardly his fault. Bob Segrin's Poles confiscated the American building, invaded in the nighttime, and Segrin lost to the East German. And then there were the sprinters who didn't get to the starting blocks on time. And then there was the young Californian Rick DeMont, who was given by Dr. Peel verboten medicines under the Olympic rules. Coach Bowerman was coach of track and field. He wasn't involved in that. But as the days rolled on and the horror of September 5th and 6th and the massacre of the Munich 11 took over the whole of the Olympiad. And then, right down to the end, the Russians getting 3 chances to win a basketball game they had lost, really lost. Those were terrible days, Bill, and you held up under them, and you should be very proud indeed. I think you know, Bill, that your influence in coaching has really made the state of Oregon the track capital of the United States. Your dedication has led to discoveries to benefit people of all ages and backgrounds. I was particularly impressed, Bill, when you said at the press conference earlier, talking about very broad and societal problems that are afflicting sports in life in America today. The answer lies in education. And so it does, Bill, and it takes people like you to help provide that education, which you do so admirably and so well. We do have a crisis in education in America today, but people are waking up, and there is a movement abreast that most of you don't know about that will save education in this country today. So I'm calling on Mr. Russ Coleman, Vice President, International Affairs of the United States Sports Academy, to make the presentation of the award to Bill Bowerman. Mr. Coleman, please.
Thank you, Dr. Cooley. Thank you, Howard. Howard was absolutely right. We went through hell together in Munich. The thing that I mentioned in that short press conference is I think is very important. I think it's important because of what this academy here stands for, the value of sports in education. And I'm very proud to be the recipient of this. I'm very proud for the long association that I've had with athletes and sports. Thank you.
First, Jim Thorpe All-Around Award goes to a young man, still a young man, who first established himself as a world-class athlete right out of high school.
In his first 2 years out of high school, Ronaldo Nehemiah broke the world indoor record in the 60-yard high hurdles 3 times. His reputation for smashing world marks was highlighted with his 110-meter high hurdles time of 12.93 seconds, a record which still stands today. Ronaldo's athletic greatness was not limited to the track, however. For 3 years, he played the wide receiver position for the San Francisco 49ers before regaining his status as an amateur athlete. It was then that he returned to his first love, high hurdles. As a 4-time champion of the ABC Superstars competition, Ronaldo Nehemiah continues to display his all-around talent and achievement in multiple sports.
Unquestionably, Ronaldo Nehemiah is one of the finest athletes yet developed in our nation. He has, to go with it, a great deal of depth and sensitivity. A beautifully spoken young man, articulate, aware of the world around him, and his hopes and dreams for his own world within that world around him. Ladies and gentlemen, here to present the Jim Thorpe All-Around Award to Ronaldo Nehemiah is Mr. Gerald Zarnecki, President and Chief Executive Officer of First Southern Federal Savings and Loan Association.
Thank you, Howard. It's indeed a pleasure to receive this award. I want to thank the United States Sports Academy for selecting me as the recipient of this award. I'm standing here kind of mind-boggled by the fact that Jim Thorpe, the great Jim Thorpe, I had to be one that was chosen to be the first recipient of this award because his feats are unparalleled as we stand here today. There's no one who's ever come close. And it's mind-boggling just to know that myself, trying to do more than one thing at one time, as best I could, had to endure a lot of great pain throughout it. And I know that Mr. Thorpe had to be totally dedicated. I'd like to take this time to publicly, for the first time, thank my wife, Patrice, who was my personal Florence Nightingale during my 4 years in the NFL with the 49ers. Thank you. And lastly, I'd like to thank God for bestowing upon me these artistic gifts that has enabled me to freely express myself to the best of my ability. Thank you all very much.
On a more somber note, I must speak quickly about why we're all here tonight, because it's such a worthy event, such a worthy cause, and because of the unison wrought, a unison that has been wrought indeed in the history of our civilization between sport and art.
The United States Sports Academy's Award of Sport is a tribute to the artist and the sportsman. The generous contributions made here tonight will make it possible to establish a permanent home for the American Sport Art Museum and Archives, awesome as it's called. In the second decade of this great institution, the United States Sports Academy, under the direction of Dr. Thomas P. Rosandage, established awesome to meet the Academy's total commitment to sport education. The celebration of art and athletic performance has been with us since the dawn of civilization, when the first drawings of the sportsmen were etched on the walls of caves. It was only natural that somewhere down the line, sport and art would come together. That's what makes this program so unique. The natural marriage of the two great talents, that of the athlete on the field of competition and the artist capturing our sports heroes, preserving those moments for posterity. Tonight's program is to honor those deemed outstanding in their field of sport accomplishment as recognized by balloting of sports writers and the general public in conjunction with the United States Sports Academy.
I think most of you know that last year I was honored to attend this ceremony as the first winner of the Ronald Reagan Media Award. An award which will always mean a great deal to me. The thing about Mr. Reagan is, and I've known him for so many years, we have done so many shows together. I even united him as part of a new odd couple at halftime, Ronaldo, before you were doing your stint for the Niners in Candlestick Park. I united the then governor of California with the late John Lennon of the Beatles. And they did not make, under the political circumstances attending both of their attendances, they did not make a likely couple. But they hit it off very well indeed. And in its own way, it showed me the secret of President Reagan. It's not for nothing that he's called the great communicator. He has an uncanny ability to render almost anyone malleable under his suasion. Yes, he's a remarkable communicator. And the president recently sent a letter to the Academy, which I should like to read to you. Warmest greetings to everyone attending the 3rd Annual Academy Awards of Sport. Congratulations to all of this year's honorees. Your contributions to the rich and varied collection of activities we know as sports make you most deserving of these tributes. And special congratulations to Frank Deford, winner of the Sports Media Award. Mr. Deford is an outstanding sports journalist with great insight into sports and even greater into human nature. It's an honor to have an award in my name given to such a distinguished recipient. Nancy joins me in sending best wishes for a memorable and enjoyable ceremony. God bless you. Ronald Reagan. Now, you've written about every element of the human condition. The way you've lived your life, the emotional drama of your child lost to cystic fibrosis. Your remarkable and touching book made into such a sensitive television movie. Everything about you, my friend, is right. And I'm very proud to be here tonight as you receive the 2nd Ronald Reagan Media Award. And presenting it to you, Frank, will be Mr. Herman Meisel, President, Herman Meisel and Company, Incorporated.
This is, first of all, especially appropriate because Herman's son, Ivan, is one of the best young writing talents at Sports Illustrated. And of course, Ivan is from Mobile, so I think there's a nice local connection with this that touches me on the one hand as much as getting an award in the President's name does on the other. It's especially nice to get this because it's named after an old radio announcer, and the first person to win it is a television announcer. So it's nice for me to take this from the grasp of the electronic media and for a moment. And more Howard said that I've written about the entire human condition, and that includes a long article on Howard himself. But most directly, I think I'm especially proud to get this in the lee of Howard Cosell, who got it last year, because no matter how many people might win this bloody award in the years ahead, I'll always be coupled at the top of the list with this man who I hold in such high regard. Thank you all very much at the Academy. It's a great honor this evening. Thanks.
The final award this evening goes to the Sport Artist of the Year. He's selected by the Advisory Board of the American Sport Art Museum and Archives. The programs you hold in your hands are his contribution to this ceremony and to the American Sport Art Museum and Archives. The original sketches from which these programs were made were donated by Bart Forbes, Sport Artist of the Year, to the Awesome Gallery.
Bart Forbes is one of the country's foremost painters and illustrators. It would be easier to list those magazines and corporations who have not commissioned his work, but some of the more recognizable names are Time, Boy's Life, and Saturday Review. His interest in the world of sports has led to his reputation as a sports artist, with his work appearing as the theme art for Super Bowl IX and in 2 NFL books. Mr. Forbes has accumulated well over 50 awards of excellence from the New York Society of Illustrators, in addition to the inclusion of his art in the exhibition 200 Years of American Illustration. His work can also be seen on many letters, as he was commissioned by the U.S. Postal Service to produce commemorative stamps.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Sport Artist of the Year, Mr. Bart Forbes and Mr. N.Q. Adams, Chairman, Southern Regional and South Bank, and Chairman of the American Sport Art Museum and Archives Executive Board.
John, this is a beautiful award. A very nice job. John Robinson out there designed this. I don't know if anyone has said that or not, but it's very handsome and very heavy. When I was a boy, young man, growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio, I used to dream about being or becoming a great athlete because I was a big fan. I still am a big fan of all the games, all the sports, and it's particularly gratifying to receive an award like this in the company of such really, truly great athletes, as you've seen tonight. For a guy whose only real talent is with a pencil and a brush, this is truly a rare treat. I thank the Academy. I thank my dad, who died this past year, for giving me his love of sport. And I thank my wife, Mary Jo, for tolerating not only an artist, but a sports nut as well all these years. Thank you.
Thank you, Bart, and congratulations. I think John Robinson has been plugged enough tonight. First, he took the statue that he created, I've already told you, fashioned it upon my body, my person, And then he went on from there, just got the plug from Bart, and it is a beautiful statue you've created, John. I'd like you to come up.
This is unrehearsed. Howard, thank you very much for those kind things, and thank you, Bart. I would just like to say one thing.
You've already said too much.
It's been a great honor to me to have my sculpture used as the Academy Awards for these marvelous athletes and people who have given to the world of sport. I would like to show my appreciation to what Tom and Sally have done with me. It's been a highlight of my life with Margie to come here to Mobile, to meet with Sally and Tom, and to work out this thing together. And I would like you to have this original maquette as an appreciation of what has happened.
I could cry.
Kim, we're running out of time. I'm counting on the quickness of your foot movement. Oh, that's beautiful.
It is the pins of all the sport associations of Korea. Is gorgeous. Of course, the top pin is the pin of the Seoul Olympics that will be held next year. I thank you very much, Kim. It's
Thank
gorgeous.
you, Tom. Excellent statement. Thank you.
You're okay.
It's been my pleasure to serve as your master of ceremonies this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm delighted to have been back a second year in this great city, part of this program. And as I say goodnight to all of you, on behalf of the Sports Academy, I'd like to call up all the recipients of the awards and their presenters for photographs, and then you're welcome to get autographs for your programs and meet and greet the recipients. Again, on behalf of the Academy, thank you all for coming. God bless you and good night.